Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Fair use.
And then it really comes from a hurt place. So many awful things have happened, with African Americans and in Africa in general being displaced, that it's an identity crisis. So the devil comes with doctrines of devils and seducing spirits, trying to deceive people. So they don't believe salvation is for white people, just the true Israelites, black people. And it's silly. And then it really comes from a hurt place. So many awful things have happened, with African Americans and in Africa in general being displaced, that it's an identity crisis. So the devil comes with doctrines of devils and seducing spirits, trying to deceive people. So they don't believe salvation is for white people, just the true Israelites, black people. Even though white people did not exist before 1681. Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681.
Now, these Christians, they do not want to address this situation. See, this Marcus Rogers, the first thing he bring up is white people. Who is these white people? See, who was these white people before 1681? Why are they calling themselves white people? They're not Europeans. That is not a bloodline. That's not biblical. You're not going to find Europe in the Bible or European in the Bible. They're not Caucasians. You're not going to find Caucasians in the Bible. You're not going to find Anglo-Saxon in the Bible. See, who are these people? Even Grecians, when they inserted so-called Grecians in the Bible and Greece, that's not a bloodline, a biblical bloodline. That's something that was inserted. And see, Joel breaks down who was putting people in slavery. See, and then he want to say that the slave ship or the slaves wasn't going to be sold. The Israelites were sold all over the place. This is another verse they don't want to address. Let's get it. He made the statement saying that it was slaves being sold all over the world. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie, and the Bible do not address that. I mean, the Bible addresses that, and it let it be known that it's only one group of people that's being sold. Daniel 9:12, it said, all Israel have transgressed thy law from even by departing. And it says that they might not be that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God. So it was happening to them that they was being sold to other nations. Verse 12 it said, and he confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. And so did no other nation was driven out of their nation and sold as a nation. See, this 300-year slave trade was the greatest slave trade and slave situation in the history of the world. See, you will never hear these Christians bring that out. You mean to tell me from 1500 to 1800, you had people being sold, bought and sold on slave ships, and this wasn't going to be recorded in the Bible? This wasn't a significant part of history that the prophets would have addressed, that God would have addressed. that God would have made some kind of statement on. These millions of people, God was not going to address this thing. He didn't have nothing to do with it. It happened to nobody else. Nowhere in history have a nation been enslaved and bought and sold like cattle. No time in history but the time of Egypt, Babylon. Only with Jerusalem is the only time a nation have been bought and sold. See, but these Christians will not address this. They will not address this. They will keep going with this false narrative of white people and black people. There's no such thing as white people and black people. It's a bold-faced lie. It is a lie. They never existed. White people never existed in history. The so-called slave master who was making these uh, egregious laws, that was making these deceptive laws and these wicked laws. Let's get that. While we're talking about laws, we know who these people are because it's been prophesied who they was going to be. Look at verse 25. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. See, the laws are policies. The policies that these uh, people have done, this fourth kingdom that Daniel is talking about, through their policy, they conquered and put a covering and a veil over their nationality. Let's get that in Isaiah 25. It says, he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Who put this veil on all nations? See, who put this covering cast on all nations? It was the fourth kingdom. It was the kingdom that the Jehovah Witness and these Christian scholars would say that was the Anglo-Saxons. See, they would call them Anglo-Saxons or the British and the United States of America, who are running these countries. See, and this is what Jacqueline brought out, that these people was a white-only country until 1952. They called themselves white people, and then they said until 1952 they were the only ones that can be citizens under the Immigration and the Nationality Act. And that Nationality Act was them creating a false nationality to give themselves white supremacy so they can be supreme and rule that fourth kingdom. That's what he said, in this mountain, meaning in this kingdom, the face of the covering cast, he destroyed the nationalities in this kingdom, this fourth kingdom. Let's go back to Daniel. See, Daniel exposed these dragons. It says, verse 25, he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. You see, he changed the laws to conquer the world, to make his kingdom prosper. Look at 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth. What did he say in Isaiah 25:7? Of this mountain he was going to destroy the covering cast over all people. See, over all nations. This is how he devoured the whole earth, by the laws that he created, calling themselves white people. That was by the law, and should tread it down and break it into pieces. So he broke down to pieces the whole world through this false identity. Let's go back to Isaiah. Let's get 60:2. It say, for behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. See, the people On earth, under this fourth kingdom, they're in total darkness. They don't even know their nationality. They call themselves Chinese, uh, Arabs, Arabia, wherever that is. They call themselves East Indian. Indian means savage. The East savages, West Indians, West savages. See, they call themselves black a color, white a color, colored people. See, and they running with these narratives. And so when the Spirit of the Lord came, let's get that, it exposed these dragons. Let's get right to the point. It says, and then that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. See, he's showing through his mouth, because he come in the volume of the book. See, that's what they don't want you to understand. The spirit of prophecy, this the testimony of Yahushua, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. He is the spirit of prophecy. The prophecies was going to expose these people. The prophecies was going to reveal who the devil is, who is the deceiver, who the one that's lying and hiding people's identities under the Nationality Act in 1952. See, and let me get the Nationality Act real quick, because I got it right on my, here it is, right here. Immigration Nationality Act, 1952. You see, they was holding this white as a nationality, and only they was able to be um citizens. Only they could be citizens under that nationality of white. See, and it never existed. Nobody ever existed. It was 18 nations in the Bible, and these dragons don't want to address who they are. They not telling people what nation they come from. Ain't no African in the Bible. See, African is not in the Bible. You came from Ham, Shem, or Japhet, and these dragons do not come from Japhet. And they don't say, oh, they say no Japhites or no Hamites can get into the kingdom. They don't address the situation like that. They address the situation as white people, black people, Africans. See, none of this is what the scriptures is saying. But the Lord is consuming these people with his mouth. Now let's get what happened to Israel. It says, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave thee. See, they was going to discontinue from their heritage. Let's get Baruch. Is it 30? 230? They was going to discontinue themselves. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity they shall remember themselves. So in the land of their captivity, they was going to forget who they were. That's who them Gentiles are. That's who the Gentiles was being addressed in the New Testament. That it was going to come a time that the Israelites was going to be in a Gentile state of mind in the lands of their captivity, and they needed to understand that the covenant is for people that live outside of Israel. It's bigger than people living inside of Israel in the Holy Land. It's about them being a seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. A seed of Jacob, and the promises belong to them. And if they convert back to being a child of Israel, then he gonna bless them. Then he gonna bring them into the covenant that he made with their forefathers. Cause this is what he say. He say 32. He say they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, and they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. And I will bring them again into the land which I have promised with an oath to their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. See, because right now you got the Gentiles ruling that land. These Christians don't address that. And Luke, the your Messiah, your leader, told you that this land would be trodden out of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, meaning until their time is up. And when their time will be up, verse 27, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. See, they was the Gentiles gonna be in that land until the Son of Man come. There wasn't gonna be nobody in that land until that sky cracked. Now, if you don't believe in the Bible and you don't believe he gonna crack the sky and he gonna come on a cloud with great glory, then you're not a part of the conversation. But we know ain't nobody cracked that sky with great glory. So them whoever in that land, mean they are Gentiles. They are not Israelites. They are not the children of Israel. They are not the children of Jerusalem. And that tells us what Revelation 2:9, what he want to bring out, and what Revelation 3:9, that these people are lying. They saying that they are Jews, but they are lie. You ain't the children that's supposed to be in that land, because they only gonna come until the sky crack. That's why they don't agree with the New Testament. They don't want to use the writings of the New Testament because it thoroughly debunk anything that they bring in. But the Christians don't address that with them. They don't go to them and say, well, our New Testament, as Christians, we believe in the New Testament, and it says that you people are Gentiles until that sky crack. It says that it's going to be a Messiah that's going to crack the sky. See, these people over there saying it's not going to be no Messiah that's going to crack the sky. And if it is, he coming to us. He not coming for no Christian. But they don't address with them. But when the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans present their argument, then here come the people with out the woodworks, doctrines of devils. Why they don't present doctrines of devils to this Jewish people? Let's find a Christian on YouTube talking about a doctrines of devils from Jewish people. You will not find it, man. They are not addressing these Jewish people with doctrines of devil. See, when Revelation 2:9 is directly talking to them and calling them the church of Satan. But these people won't address it because they are pretty much, they might be even set up by the people or paid by the people or paid by the government to come against the Israelites. Because the beast, they know what's going on. Because the Israelites is under captivity and want of all things, meaning these Gentiles is in control of all things. They in control of all things, so they know all things. They got all the evidence. Only people that don't got the evidence and the proof is the Israelites. That's why the Lord had to set the Bible up and put the Spirit on the Bible so where it can debunk everything that they saying. And it can identify who the Israelites are. That's why he set up the slavery situation. So you couldn't lie and say everybody could be slaves. No. It's only one group of people that can be slaves, and that was slaves on the earth. And it's documented through history. It's only one major slavery. That was from the Israelites. And look at Joel. It identifies who these people are saying that they white people. Joel chapter 3 and 19. Because verse 6 say that the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold to the Grecians. So they were sold. It was not talking about no man shall buy you. No, they were sold to some people. And look who the people were. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah. See, and that Egypt, that means the Edomites is the new Egypt. They're the spiritual Egypt. They're the spiritual Egypt, because Egypt was the slave masters. They were the first slave masters of the Israelites. And Edom is going to be the last slave master of the of the Israelites. And that term white people never existed. That was just created by them under the law, because that's what Daniel prophesied about. That the law was going to help them conquer and help them blind the people against what was going on. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.